I will not be returning to ESPN.
It is a massive fall from grace. His relationship with ESPN, it is officially over.
This is what the headline's going to be for the next couple of days.
Denying the allegations, labeling the move a shakedown.
I thank all my fans for supporting me.
That all happens around someone, and they are not likely to return to Disney.
It's official. Shannon Sharpe needs cash.
Hey, you know, pocket's light right now, Ocho. Pocket light right now. Just say pocket's light.
Shannon Sharpe had it all. A Hall of Fame NFL career, 3 Super Bowl rings. He got out at FS1 and left Skip Bayless in the dust at the exact right moment. His personal media empire was booming, alongside a lucrative career at ESPN. Then it all came crashing down, crumbling faster than a linebacker trying to cover the dynamic tight end himself. And it was his tight end that cost him his career at ESPN. ESPN fired Shannon Sharpe recently after Sharpe settled a lawsuit that accused him of rape. Today I'll break down what went wrong for Sharpe and why he will actually be fine without ESPN. Sort of. More alarmingly, I'll reveal how almost everyone who sits opposite Stephen A. Smith gets fired or arrested, which is why you have never seen Stephen A. Smith look into a mirror. So today, I, Brendan Perna, the world's best 5'8" football talking guy, will dive into how Shannon Sharpe probably got played, but how he also really has nobody else to blame but himself, and what this cost him at ESPN. Here on That's Good Sports, where you must subscribe first, or I won't do the thing. I won't do it until you subscribe. Okay, I'll do it. This year, I have partnered with Prize Picks as my daily fantasy sponsor. All season long, I'm only with Prize Picks. Now, I'm really excited to work with them because I love their app, and they showed me that they value what we are building here at That's Good Sports. That was incredibly important to me in making this decision, and now I want to blow their expectations out of the stratosphere and into that giant black hole that's coming for all of us. Last year, you guys had over 6,000 signups with my code. I want to surpass that this season with Prize Picks and my code TGS. If we get enough signups, I'm going to demand you see my face when you open the app instead of Drewski. Except I'll be shirtless, wearing nothing but a Denver Speedo. I want Prize Picks to receive complaints because of my body on their app. That's the goal. I've already set a NFL Week 1 lineup. A 3-pick power play. Yeah, I'm believing hard, going more on Knicks' passing yards for Week 1. I'm guessing Cam Ward against Denver's dominant defense struggles in his debut to light it up, and I'm thinking Caleb Williams might struggle passing against the Vikings D. You can create plays right now for preseason football, but one of the coolest things Prize Picks does is allow you to use the same player multiple times in the same lineup. When the NFL regular season starts, you can, for example, stack Josh Allen in passing yards and rushing TDs or passing TDs in the same game. I've wanted to do that for years. Prize Picks is available in 45 states, and you know the drill. Use my code TGS and make your first $5 deposit, and Prize Picks will give you $50 in lineups. My sign-up link is in the description, and let's show Prize Picks that I'm the smartest decision they've ever made. The Shannon Sharpe lawsuit became public all the way back in April. He stepped away from ESPN after details of the lawsuit became public, and an audio recording of him was released. Then we heard nothing for months. The first sign that a settlement was likely was when the defendant's attorney was a no-show at the first court date for the lawsuit. Imagine showing up to court and your attorney just isn't there, forcing you to ask for a recess so you can quickly learn the law and represent yourself like Matt Damon in Good Will Hunting.
I am afforded the right to speak in my own defense, sir.
That would be a pretty cool movie, actually.
Your Honor, I can assure you that this will be our final argument.
But let's back up and take a moment to recall why Shannon Sharpe actually went to court and make sense of what this civil suit was actually about that led to his firing. Shannon Sharpe the Broncos Hall of Famer was facing a sexual assault civil lawsuit from a woman identified as Jane Doe, who alleged he assaulted her multiple times during a nearly 2-year relationship. We later learned that she was an OnlyFans model named Gabriella Zuniga. Despite Sharpe's repeated denials and his attorney's claim that he previously offered a $10 million settlement to her, his legal team originally waited to make an official response to the complaint. The lawsuit, filed by Tony Busby, who represented many of Deshaun Watson's accusers, caused Sharpe to take a step back from his ESPN appearances, and now we know he's not returning to the network as they fired him. If you'll recall, Sharpe provided a list of text exchanges with the woman that referred to terms like baby gravy, the single most vile euphemism I've ever heard in my life. I'll never be able to eat Cracker Barrel's all-day breakfast again after hearing that. And I think there should be a class action lawsuit on behalf of everyone who had to read those words. Again, Sharpe's side claims the relationship was consensual and that Sharpe and the alleged victim had a dominant/submissive thing going on, which they have attempted to lay out with texts from their side. I think it's safe to say at this point that's what the relationship was based on the texts and the admittance from both parties. Sharpe's lawyer, though, Lanny Davis, conceded that Sharpe previously offered a $10 million settlement to the accuser. In a recording obtained by People magazine, a voice resembling Sharpe's is ostensibly heard threatening physical harm to the accuser with the words, "If you say that word one more time, I'm gonna fucking choke the shit out of you when I see you." Now, Sharpe denied the allegations, and the case was eventually resolved out of court on July 18th, and it was dismissed with prejudice, meaning that it could not be refiled at any point. If Shannon was guilty of sexual assault, in no world should he have a job at ESPN, nor should he get to continue his YouTube career. And I'm saying that because all I've seen anyone do is laugh at him for getting played by a young woman in a cash grab. Maybe that's true, maybe not. None of us know. None of us have been privy to all of the details. And the clip of Miss Monique warning Shannon Sharpe about his bedroom activities has been shared thousands and thousands of times.
You don't need no 26-year-old girl. You don't need no 36-year-old girl. You're trying to hang out with these young bitches and you can't do it, Shannon. You just can't do it.
What has been lost in this, and what I was not aware of, is that Shannon has been down this road before. Back in 2010, he was a host on CBS Sports, where, stop me if this sounds familiar, Sharpe had reportedly decided to step aside from his gig at the network after a woman accused him of sexually assaulting her and threatening her life. Her name was Michelle Bundy, no relation to Ted or Al, and she filed a restraining order against Shannon Sharpe. That restraining order was eventually dismissed, and she was painted as someone who was infatuated with Sharpe and that there were a bunch of issues with her. Like this most recent case, who knows what's true and what is not? What I do know is that if Sharpe had that incident in his past, he should have been smart enough to not be sending the texts he was sending, having the phone conversations he was having, and again, accidentally live streaming the audio of himself having sex. Money and power makes people fucking dumb. Yes, it also makes them targets, but you better protect yourself instead of opening up that bullseye like I think Sharpe did. We don't know the financial terms of the final settlement other than it's believed it was significantly less than the $50 million that they were seeking, and there was no admission of guilt from the Hall of Fame tight end. Tony Busby, the defendant's lawyer, was quoted, "After protracted and respectful negotiations, I'm pleased to announce that we have reached a mutually agreed upon resolution. All matters have now been addressed satisfactorily, and the matter is closed." Sharpe also went after Tony Busby, who he claimed made a living off of targeting black men. Busby is, of course, famous for spearheading the cases against Deshaun Watson, which appeared to be credible looking back at it several years later. Still, Sharpe said that Busby goes after black men like Jay-Z and has vowed to sue him for defamation. I think the truth is that Busby, because he works on a contingency rather than working on retainer, goes after the strongest cases he has that have a chance to be settled out of court, where he can collect a 40% fee for his services. Busby went after Deepwater Horizon after the 2010 oil spill, and I think the only through line for his career is that he goes after defendants with deep pockets, and so far that has included Sharpe, Jay-Z, Travis Scott, and Deshaun Watson.
On his wall, articles on court victories and high-dollar settlements against big oil companies.
I wouldn't exactly make the case that Busby is the most reputable attorney in our country, or that his motivation is always justice, but I couldn't go as far as to say he targets black men. Just rich black men. Something I will never be. Thanks, Mom. After the settlement was reached, Gabriella Zuniga announced her retirement from OnlyFans. People are old enough to be retiring from OnlyFans now. Holy shit.
Get off my lawn.
I've fallen, and I can't get up.
A retired OnlyFans model? Too old for Bill Belichick. That's all I know. Anyway, she posted, "Today I have decided to retire from OnlyFans. Thank you for the incredible support you've shown me over the past few years. This community has given me a life I could have never imagined," she wrote. I'll still be active on social media and have several new projects in the works that I can't wait to share. I'm truly excited for this next chapter. I love you all forever and ever. With this retirement announcement, we'll all be waiting 5 years to see whether or not she gets that OnlyFans gold jacket. I find it fascinating that someone who just settled a sexual assault lawsuit would then be teasing the exciting projects they have coming up. Anyway, after that, ESPN announced that it would not be renewing Sharpe's contract, which ended his time with the network at the end of July. Of course, Sharpe was let go from ESPN just days before his brother Sterling was inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Wait until Monday. Brother's going into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. I really wanted to be about him, and I wanted to be about my family.
Which I think was shitty timing on behalf of the network. Don't get me wrong, they don't owe the courtesy to Shannon, but Sterling Sharpe has long been waiting to enter the Hall after a remarkable career was cut short by injuries. And if anything else, I do think it managed to take away from the defining moment of his post-NFL life, which he then made a little awkward when talking about hair and makeup during the Hall of Fame game.
Melissa and I had a wonderful years at NFL Network. She spent a lot more time in the hair and makeup chair than I did.
All right.
But
kill his mic. Let's get back to the game.
Who's going to replace Shannon Sharpe on First Take? That's a question some have. Well, maybe it will be Chad Johnson, who called this shot on the show on July 30th.
I'm going to start probably September 5th, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Because it's Thursday Night Football first week, so I should be here Friday.
Johnson is, of course, Shannon Sharpe's co-host on the popular Nightcap podcast, and we'll see if he actually gets the call from ESPN once the football season kicks off. Like with just about everything at ESPN currently, I'm nearly positive they'll make a decision that pisses off the general public. Welcome to The Stain, starring Justin Tucker and Deshaun Watson, now airing on ESPN after First Take. Here's the odd thing, Shannon Sharpe doesn't need ESPN to continue his media career, right? Before this lawsuit, there were reports that Shannon was discussing a $100 million deal for his YouTube channels and podcasts. And those are Club Shay Shay and Nightcap, both boasting millions of subscribers on YouTube. He was on pace to land that insane deal while keeping his $6.5 million per year deal going at ESPN, which would have easily turned into $10 to $15 million per year at his next negotiating period with the company. Sharpe, though, is a cautionary tale in that you should be extremely careful with who you involve yourself with when you become that successful. Something most of us will never really have to worry about. Conversely, this shows the power of building your own media brand even if you land that dream job at ESPN. While being on ESPN would help significantly as Sharpe continues to do his thing on YouTube, he doesn't need ESPN to make an incredible living. Yes, he fumbled the bag. significantly, a big bag, but he's still going to be making millions of dollars every year, and advertisers won't be turned off because of his settlement. If you think he's entirely innocent, you can still support him by watching his show, and in a few years when everyone forgets about this, maybe he has another $100+ million opportunity. That said, the way ESPN is going, he blew a massive opportunity to be one of the richest people in all of sports media. The deals ESPN just made with the NFL and WWE, holy fuck, you want to be on that ship right now, and Shannon is not. He's on a little speedboat, a nice speedboat, but ESPN's a fucking giant cruise ship. Sure, everyone's gonna get diarrhea from the norovirus, but they'll be able to sustain the large waves of the ocean. Speedboat? Nothing's guaranteed. I like boats.
I like
boats. Would you like me to talk more about boats? Fishing boats? Pontoon boats? Dinghies? ESPN is smartly allowing their talent to build their own platforms on YouTube, and being on ESPN regularly, helps with that. We're entering a world where you will see one of us get swooped up by ESPN while also being allowed to keep doing our thing on YouTube. Probably Tom Grossi or Brett Coleman one day. Certainly won't be me. One of the good guys. I like boats. And while Shannon doesn't need that network, he lost a significant funnel to his own brand. A security blanket. Perhaps at the end of the day, it's Stephen A. Smith who's the curse. Skip has had a massive fall from grace. Former NBA player Marcus Morris was recently arrested.
Baller busted. An NBA veteran, Marcus Morris, arrested right here in South Florida for fraud.
Sharpe just had his legal troubles resolved, and now Gilbert Arenas was arrested on federal indictment. Oh yeah, let's talk about that. But in another episode, because murder actually opened up that case for Gil Arenas. And when I was looking through it, I was like, this has got to be its own thing. Hopefully I can get to it this week. Thanks for watching That's Good Sports. Please subscribe here. Make sure you show some love to the people who help make this channel hum. Will Keys, who helps write everything you see here. Johnny Barks, who helps edit everything. Well, actually, I think Connor edited this video. Connor's new. And Rachel, who did all the new cursed logos for the 2025 season.